The topic today is the difference between the simple present and the present continuous. So let's start with the simple present. Well, first of all, the use of the simple present is for habits, routines, and things that don't change, yes? Or to talk about facts, yes? Things that are in that way. So some examples could be like we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. We celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. That means that we always celebrate Christmas that date. Yes, this is a fact, a routine, right? It doesn't change. Then we have other examples like the sun rises in the east. Yes, the sun rises in the east. So that means that the sun always, every day, rises in the east. It doesn't change. It's a fact. Then we have another example, like we work every day of the week. Yes, this is a habit. This is a routine. We work every day of the week. So regular activities and things that we often do or that don't change. Yeah. So this is the main use of the simple present. Yes, habits and routines. And then what happens with the structure or the tenses used in the simple present? First of all, we have two auxiliaries that belong to the simple present. They are do and the negative don't, and then we have does and doesn't. Yeah, this is do and does are the two auxiliaries that belong to the simple present, that are used with the simple present. And what happens with do and does? They are auxiliaries, so they don't have any meaning by themselves, okay? These words are there just like to remind me that I'm speaking in the simple present, but that's all, yeah? There's no meaning when they are used as auxiliaries. Do and don't are used for I, or are used with I, you, we, and they, the personal pronouns, okay? And does or doesn't, the auxiliary does or doesn't, is used with he, she, and it, third person singular, okay? So it's important, this difference, because we have to make a little change when we use does or doesn't, or in affirmative when we use he, she, it, especially in affirmative sentences. Yes, so I, you, we, and they with do and don't. He, she, it with does and doesn't. Okay? This is the main structure, like the two words, the two key words that are used when we talk in simple present. And what happens here in affirmative sentences? In affirmative sentences, when we can say, for example, you play tennis like a pro. Yeah? You play tennis like a pro, like a professional, right? You play. The verb play, it's the same verb play as we already know them, okay? No change in the verb. But I can also say another sentence with it. It rarely rains in the desert. It rarely rains in the desert. So here I am saying it rarely rains. Rains with an S. The verb rain adds an S. So here with it and also with he or she, we have to add S or an ES. It depends on the verb, yes? At the end of the verb. And why do we add an S or an ES? Well, it's important because the S or the ES conjugate the verb, okay? Yes, conjugate the verb, so it's very important. If not, if we don't add the S or the ES, the verb is as if we were talking in infinitive. yes, like Tarzan English, right? So the S conjugates the verb. So this is very important. So another example could be she drives. Yes, she drives to work every day. She drives, right? With an S. She, he, she, it. She drives. Okay. He watches TV every night. Yes, it's a regular activity, a routine. He watches. I'm adding here an es. Watch, watches. He watches TV every night. They watch TV every night. They watch, but he watches. Okay? So, this is important to pronounce the ending es, right? Then, when we have the negatives, what happens with the negatives? In negative sentences, we use the auxiliary. The auxiliary in negative, remember that it's don't and doesn't. So, in a negative, for example, it says, it doesn't rain very often in the desert. It doesn't rain, okay? So in this case, I use the auxiliary doesn't plus the verb rain. As I have doesn't in the sentence, the verb rain remains in infinitive. There's no change with rain because we have the auxiliary, yeah? So, it doesn't rain very often in the desert. Then we have, I don't like fantasy movies. I don't like fantasy movies. I don't like. The verb remains in infinitive. When we have the auxiliaries in negative, the verbs, yes, always are in infinitive because we have the auxiliaries there, yes? The auxiliaries indicate the tense I am talking about. So in this case, the auxiliaries indicate that I'm talking in simple present. So then we have questions, right? How do we make questions in English with the simple present? We use the auxiliaries too. For example, we can say, what do you have for breakfast? What do you have for breakfast? So, what do you have means what are the things that you eat or drink for breakfast, right? So we say, what do you, because do is with you, and then have the verb in infinitive. What do you have for breakfast? I have, the answer, I have tea and some biscuits. Okay? Yes, so in the question we use the auxiliary also to indicate that we are speaking in the, we're talking about the simple present, right? When we use he, she, or it, we change the auxiliary. What does your mother have for breakfast? What does your mother have for breakfast? In this case, I use does because I'm talking about your mother, about she. Yeah. So, what does she have for breakfast? Well, she only has a cup of coffee. Here, have, yes, in infinitive in the question, becomes has in the answer. Yeah, because the third person, because of the third person, he, she, it, has. So, my mother has, she has a cup of coffee. She only has a cup of coffee, right? Okay, then I have, or we have, another type of questions, the yes or no. Yes or no questions. That when we make questions so that the answer has to be yes or no. In this case, an example could be, do they study hard? Do they study hard? And the short answer, they are called short answers, is yes they do, no they don't. Affirmative and negative. Yes they do, no they don't. Okay? They don't study hard. We can complete, yes, the answer with the complete sentence. And we also have with does. For example, does the train leave at 2 p.m.? Does the train leave at 2 p.m.? I use does because I'm talking about the train. Does it leave at 2 p.m.? And short answers. Yes, it does. And I can complete it. I say, yes, it does. It leaves at 2 p.m. It leaves. Here I add the S. Yes, it leaves at 2 p.m. Right? Or no, it doesn't. And this is a short answer and it's okay. Yeah, I can leave it there, right? No, it doesn't. Negative of does. No, it doesn't. And I can complete it. I can say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't leave at 2 p.m. It leaves at 3 p.m. Okay? So, when we normally start studying English, it's a good point to complete the short answers because that gives you the opportunity to practice the complete structure. Because you say, no, it doesn't leave at 2 p.m. Negative. It leaves at 3 p.m. Affirmative. Okay? Yes? So that your answer you can complete it and you expand your answer. Yes? You expand and you use all the structure. So this is a recommendation. Yes? Normally just to practice your speaking. Okay, well, here we have seen then the use and the structure, the do and does, okay, with the simple present. And also we have time markers, yeah? The time markers or the adverbs of time, yes, adverbs of frequency, that belong to the simple present. Each tense in English, each verb tense has its own time markers. The time markers become a clue, yes? A clue, a help, let's say, to know what tense or which tense we are talking about. So with the time markers, we can realize which tense we are using, okay? So here the time markers for the simple present are the typical ones, are every, yes, every. With every, we have all the combinations, the possible combinations, that every day, every week, every month, every year, or every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, okay? Then we have once, this type of phrases, time phrases, like once a day, once a week, once a month, once a year, once a day, once a week, or we have twice or 2 times, yes, twice or 2 times, a day, a week, 2 times or twice a month, twice a year, yes, this is the phrase, once a, twice a, 3 times. As from 3 times, we have 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, okay? So 3 times a day, 3 times a week, 4 times a month, okay? These are time phrases, yes, that are used with the simple present. For example, you can say, I have English classes 3 times a week, okay? Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? Okay. Then we have expressions like in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night. Yes, and here we just remember a little bit the prepositions, okay? In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and with night, we say at night, okay? So I have English classes 3 times a week in the morning, okay? For example, right? And also we have adverbs of time that words that indicate they are adverbs of frequency. Yes, they indicate how often activities or actions are take place. For example, we have always, never, frequently, often, sometimes, rarely. Yeah, so they mean they indicate the frequency of the activities. For example, I always get up at 7 a.m. I occasionally eat meat. Yes, I frequently or I often eat vegetables, right? Yes, we use these adverbs of frequency that are like the adverbs or the time markers that belong to the simple present, okay? Now, let's go to the present continuous, yes? Present continuous or present progressive, yeah? The present continuous indicate are actions that are happening at the moment of speaking, right? Moment of speaking, now, that are actions that are going on now. For example, I can say, I am going on live, or I am going live in Instagram, right? I am going live in Instagram. I am talking about this present continuous now, in this moment, right? So, in this case, we use the structure with ing. Now we're going to see the structure, but then let's continue with the use. The actions that are happening at the moment of speaking is one of the cases. Then we can use the present continuous when we talk about a plan in the near future. Yes, for a future arrangement. So in this case, we describe what you are going to do, maybe next weekend, next week, tomorrow, in the evening, so in the near future, right? And we use the present continuous. For example, like, what are you doing next weekend? What are you doing next weekend? I am watching a series in Netflix. I am watching a series in Netflix. Or I am washing my car, right? Okay? We use the present continuous with a future arrangement, okay? In the near future. And also, we can use the present continuous for actions that happen in a temporary period, right? Something that is happening around the time of speaking, but not necessarily at the exact moment, okay? I give you an example, and it will be a little bit clearer. So I can say, I'm reading a great book. I'm reading a great book. Yes, that means that not necessarily I'm reading the book at this moment. Yes, but it's just in this period, and it's a temporary activity, right? It's until I finish the book, right? So I'm reading a great book, okay? Or another example could be, Jamie is working at home today. Jamie is working at home today, yes? Or Jamie is working at home this week. Or Jamie is working at home this month. It's a temporary period, temporary actions, okay? For example, we can say, James normally works in his office, yes? But he is working at home this week, okay? Normally, yes, is the general activity, the routine, his routine, yes? He works in his office, but temporary action, he is working at home this week, okay? Yes, it's like the present continuous is contained in the simple present, right? Then, regarding the structure of this tense, how do we form this tense? We use the verb to be, yeah? We use the verb to be, that is am, is, or are, plus a gerund. Gerund is the ing verb, okay? The verb that ends in ing. For example, affirmative sentence. We are going, as I said before, we are going live on IG, on Instagram now, okay? That means an action that is happening now. We are going live. She is drinking a coffee now. She is, verb to be, drinking, in ing. Yes, she is drinking. In a negative sentence, how do we form the negative? Well, it's just by using the verb to be in the negative, right? I am not speaking in German. I am not speaking in German. I am speaking in English, right? She isn't playing tennis. Yes, she isn't playing tennis now. They aren't having lunch now. Okay? Yes, negative of the verb to be. In questions, well, questions we have to use the verb to be and the ing verb. Yes, the same structure. For example, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? ¿Qué estás haciendo? What are you doing? Are and doing, ing. So the answer is like, I'm cleaning my house. I'm cleaning my house. I am cleaning my house. Okay? Another question with yes or no, for yes or no answer. So, is he talking by phone? Is he talking by phone? Is he talking by phone? Yes, he is. He is talking by phone, complete. Or no, he isn't. He isn't talking by phone. Yeah? He is writing an email. Okay? He is writing an email. Okay, very good. And when we have the plural, we can say with the plural verb to be, with the verb to be in plural. Are they running in the park? Yes, they are. They are running in the park. No, they aren't. They aren't running in the park. They are walking in the park. Okay? Yes? Time markers. Also in the present continuous, we have the typical time markers that belong to this tense. Yeah? And they are the clue that help us to know that we are, or someone else is talking in the present continuous or present progressive. They are the adverbs of time. Yes? That are like at the moment. Yes? At the moment. So, for example, I'm watching TV at the moment. I'm watching TV at the moment. Or these days, or this week, or this month, or today. When we refer to the use, remember that the use when we talk about the future, right? So, Paul is living in New York these days. Paul is living in New York these days, but normally he lives in Canada. Okay? Yes? And then we have the adverbs, like the words that in the time markers that are now, right now. Okay? The typical ones. Yes? What are you doing now? Yeah? What is he doing now? Right? Okay. So I'm going to give like the typical mistakes, show you the typical mistakes with this, the simple present and present continuous. Yes? So for you to have an idea. We have like in the simple present, we normally omit the S in the third person singular, he, she, it, in affirmative sentences. And we say, she ran in the park every afternoon. She ran. Yes? In this case, we are not conjugating the verb. This is a mistake. The correct form is she runs in the park every afternoon. Okay? So, what am I saying with she run in the park? I'm saying ella correr en el parque. Okay? She run in the park every afternoon. If I don't add the S, I'm not conjugating the verb. Okay? So, in order to speak correctly, I have to say she runs in the park every afternoon. And in that case, I am saying ella corre. Yes? En el parque. So, that's why it's so important, the S. Well, another typical mistake is to, in a question, okay, in a question, to use something like that. What does he has for breakfast? What does he has for breakfast? I put the auxiliary, and the conjugated verb has. And this is incorrect. because in the question we use does and the infinitive. So the correct form would be, what does she have for breakfast? Okay? And the answer would be, she has tea and whatever, and cheese and something. And the typical mistake here is she have. Yes, she have tea or she have coffee. Again, she have, yes, is the infinitive form, okay? So here we have to say she has. Regarding the present continuous, the typical mistakes are like when you say, he is work. He is work now, yeah? He is work. So we omit the ing in the verb. He is work. Yes? So the correct form is he is working. Okay? This is the same as in Spanish because we have the same structure. When we say él está trabajando ahora. If we don't say el ando, yes, you would say él está trabajar ahora. Okay? So we have to include the ing. Él está trabajando, right? So he is working. Another typical mistake is to omit the verb to be. So we say, they running, yeah? They running in the park. They running. O ellos corriendo, okay? And we have to say they are running, yeah? So están corriendo, they are running, yeah? Those are like typical mistakes, so for you to take into account when you use these tenses, right? Okay, so let's make a revision or a summary of the differences between the uses of these tenses. On the one hand, we have the simple present that is used to talk about habits, routines, regular activities, things that or actions that don't change, and facts, okay? Facts, or general truths, it's also called. General truths, like the sentence, the sun rises in the east, is a general truth, okay? And while the present continuous is a tense that is used when we want to talk about actions that are happening at the moment of speaking, yes? Simple present, regular activities, yes? Routines. Present continuous, actions that are happening at the moment of speaking, that are going on now, in this moment. Or actions that refer to the near future, yes? Next month, next week, tomorrow, next weekend, yes? What are you doing next weekend, right? Or actions that happen in a temporary period, yes, or around this period, but not necessarily now. I am working, yes, I'm working at home this month, okay? But normally I work in the office. But this month I'm working at home, so temporary period. So here we use the present continuous. It's just temporary. And in contrast with the simple present, that is a regular activity, a routine, a habit, okay? So these are the two differences, or the differences between the two tenses, okay? And on the one hand, the simple present has auxiliaries, do and does, yes, they don't have any meaning, yes, when they function as auxiliaries. And on the other hand, the present continuous is formed with the verb to be plus the ing verb, okay? And the markers also are different, because the time markers of the simple present refer to these activities in general, like every day, every month, or once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, or in the morning, in the afternoon, yeah? Or these adverbs of frequency, like always, sometimes, yeah? Rarely, seldom, occasionally, yes, siempre, cada tanto, right? These type of words. And on the other hand, the present continuous, we use the like now, because it indicates this moment, right now, or we use like this week, this month, yes, when we talk about the temporary activities, yes? now, right now, at the moment is the other one that is used for actions going on at the moment of speaking.